I've Decided presents The Journey. Along the journey to your success, there are many great adventures and great insights. You can learn from it all. Hosted by Michelle Bohm and Reagan Ward. Tune in the first week of every month and be encouraged by guests who will share their success stories and their challenges.
Good morning, my I've Decided community. I'm Michelle Bohm here with my friend Reagan Hill. Oh, Reagan Hill?
Yes,
We've officially changed the name.
We did. I'm working on it. I'm like forcing myself to make it normal. But yes.
Well, you get to go get the new ID and do all this stuff.
It's exciting. It's still, a DMV ID,
yes?
so that's...
Okay, so my new friend, old friend, new name.
Yes.
Reagan Hill.
Yes.
And we're here for the journey.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure that's what you're here for, too. So, did you have a good weekend?
I did. I felt like it obviously wasn't long enough. It never is. But yeah, good, busy. We moved into our new office space, so that was exciting.
Gosh.
So that's, we're taking our time and just kind of feeling it out. But I love creating. And then, of course, this is, our like little incubator baby. So we're excited.
Overwhelmed with all the opportunities in front of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
That's
so,
awesome.
and yours?
Yeah, same. Totally overwhelmed with opportunities because I was at the I Decided conference this weekend.
Yeah.
And fantastic. It was just every time. I don't know why I'm surprised that it's amazing.
Right. It's like has it never?
It's never not been amazing.
Right. It disappointed me, but it's.
But it was just this year was even better. It's
Absolutely.
Kim levels it up every year, and that was the theme this year. Was more. Always wanting more. Always asking for more. Appreciating what you have first.
Right.
Got to do that first, or you're never going to get more. But that was the theme of how do you get more? How do you level up? How do you maximize our weekly winning word?
Yes.
How do you maximize all these growth opportunities that are right in front of you?
Absolutely.
And so I want to talk to you about that because, of course,
want to talk to me.
I know. How do you maximize? How do we do all the things? How do we get the most out of every opportunity?
Yeah, that you are. Well, I feel like you're a mother as well.
Yes.
So you understand you run a business, you're a mom, you're like, I need every ounce of everything to work its hardest. So
I need all these levers to be pulled in the right order.
Right. And I have to do it all at once and cohesively. So I think it's just, in time, in, your scheduling, trying to, maximize what you're taking in so that it's as beneficial to your life as you can. I feel like, at the conference when you hear someone speak, there's so many different tabs,
notebooks
of I can apply it here and I can apply it here and I can appay it here. So,
and I leave there and I'm like,
right. I'm just I'm on a high, but I don't know exactly.
Somebody needs to put me in a run so that I can go. Otherwise, I'm all over the place.
Right,
and I really, really struggle with that because I get overwhelmed with everything I want to do.
Exactly. Because I'm the same way. I've got a million different things. Someone told me one time, you just have to focus on one thing. And I'm like, I just can't.
I can't.
And I've learned to embrace that, but I do have to keep it organized.
Yeah. So what do you do to keep it when you leave with your notebook of stuff
of,
ideas?
Exactly.
Yeah, what do you
you're
do?
ready to take on the world. What is step one,
Yeah.
And what I do in my schedule and especially trying to get everything done at once. And so I can kind of see it as you have the spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you split up the different subjects or, categories of your life. So, for me and my business, sometimes I have to wear the administrative hat and sometimes I have to wear the marketing hat and sometimes I get to wear the creative hat. And then sometimes I have to wear, something completely, unrelated, the landlord hat. But I feel like when you have those different things and you've got different points, so sometimes if you're sitting with your spreadsheet, kind of printed out already, or you kind of know XYZ, these are the different topics, then you can plug in those notes where they're most beneficial. And it might be beneficial to all three or all, all of your subjects, but then something might, click, oh, you know what? When I'm doing my administrative task, I'm going to remember that. That's one tip that he told me. Or, when I'm being creative, I'm going to remember that he suggested, having, a sacred space to go to or something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you can kind of see each thing individually but cohesively,
put them in little buckets,
right? Then it makes more sense, at least for me. But
that does make a lot of sense because I will I've gone to a billion conferences You know,
absolutely. I mean, they are a regular thing. This is what we do.
Yes,
We go to conferences.
We look for opportunities to maximize growth.
And there's so many in the Peoria area that I'm constantly like impressed with.
And a conference is where you're going to maximize your growth. That is where you're going to get like a year's worth of coaching and development and
intense
everything in that amount of time. And I was in Gwen Alexander's class, her breakout session, and I'm just notes. And
have you done anything with them yet?
No. So they're in the folder.
They're in the folder. That's good.
They're in a folder, but I don't know where to do it. So maybe if I make those buckets.
Yeah, then your notes kind of come to light. I'm still like pen and paper. I love it. And I think that you don't want to just do them for naught, but you do want them to, be actionable items. So.
Well, because otherwise, if you're not maximizing otherwise you're just wasting your time.
Well, yeah, you're just listening to it. It sounds good while you're there, and then you just, throw it away or file it away, and then it's not.
Nothing happens with it. So that's not what I want to do.
No, you want to take what they're teaching you and you want to implement it. And, like I said, maximizing.
Yeah,
in your life,
I do. I definitely struggle with that, but I come off of it with that high.
Oh, yeah. I think it's that, and that's an emotional, aspect that you have to have. So,
which is another great thing about conferences that you don't even, you totally underestimate.
Well, a lot of times it's a
value.
It's a value and it's a community. And I just, Peoria, I mean, I've decided community and then Peoria at large is just packed full with, amazing people. Like everywhere you turn, I'm like, that's an amazing person.
This is happening.
And I feel like that's just that's what I seek out. I do a lot of work, not necessarily by myself, but most of my day-to-day tasks are. So when I have that opportunity to kind of lock arms with everyone and say we can do this, guys. It feels like yes. Well, and that's what I've decided it's all about. So.
And, we also got to hear from Matt George, the CEO of Children's Home, and that was fantastic, too, because that was more, why are you doing this?
Right.
So I wrote a lot of notes about my why. And I guess if I go and I put that in my, having a bad day bucket.
Right.
When I'm having a bad day and I need to change my mindset, I could even take those things.
And it's
and
because
put
you
them
will.
Yeah.
As you know, I feel like the journey is, it's not always, sunny.
We're having it,
and that's, and it's expected, and it's that perseverance through that that, will get you to the other side. But yeah, I feel like I'm just coming off one of those, those
bad days.
Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And you do have to remember
Well,
that.
That's another important point, though. Not to get off topic, because this is maximizing a growth opportunity, right? Because the struggle is a growth opportunity.
Yes. And
you got to remember that when you're choking down your lessons.
Yes, you have to. Well, and I think one thing that I do when I am kind of getting off into my little rants of, pity party is journaling. Journaling to me, it's like that, that check-in that, hey, what am I gaining from this?
Right.
Because I think that when I journal, I tend to take what I'm going through as more of like a lesson. Like, okay, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to take away this. And I'm, and then, then at least it's not just, paddling in the water, just, getting nowhere. You're like, okay, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I may even feel defeated, but it's teaching me the tools that I'm going to need for the next hurdle. And,
And how can, something else I heard at last year's I've Decided conference was, it was called, Stephen Toney. When he was up there, he was talking about on the prairie, there's cows and buffaloes. Do you remember the story? So cows and buffaloes, and when there's a storm coming, a cow turns around and runs away from it because they're scared.
Yeah. Understandable.
Done that.
Right, exactly.
Plenty of times. I've run really long in that storm because I'm scared of it.
Right.
But a buffalo turns around and runs into it. They're maximizing the growth that they're going to get from it, but they're also minimizing the amount of pain that they're going to feel because they're like, I'm hitting it head on.
Right.
I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to...
They're not running with the storm, the whole way. They're
and it's funny because I picture that when I'm putting myself through something needlessly. I'm like, you're just being a cow. Be the buffalo.
Be the buffalo. Turn around, go for it, and you'll probably be done. Yeah, a lot quicker.
Before the cow even realizes they're in a storm, you're done.
Right, exactly.
So that it is okay when you're having those bad days. Maximize that growth opportunity too. Maximize that lesson.
Right.
So that you can get the most out of it.
Right.
Now, another thing that they talked about at the conference this year was getting a coach. Okay?
Yes.
So, did you hear about Troy?
I did, but I'm going to let you.
Yeah. So, Troy Alexander, they announced on Saturday, is our first I've decided success coach.
I know.
So Kim certified him. It's like,
yeah,
he's certifiable.
he's certifiable.
No.
No,
and he was on the radio show this weekend. I was listening to it. Like, that is going to change lives.
Yeah.
Coaching, having a mentor to help you along the way, that is like, you want to maximize growth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You get somebody.
Think of athletes. You know, if you want to be at the top of your game, nobody's ever heard of being a professional athlete and not having a coach.
Right.
Like, I just don't have a coach. You do.
Yeah.
So I think that stigma that you like can or are expected to do it by yourself.
Right.
Like,
no, you're not supposed to. So I was just struggling with this. In fact, Tim and I were Tim from Widecast Studios. Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
He was talking about I'm starting my podcast,
right.
And he's like, "Okay, Shell, we got to get your podcast scheduled." I'm like, "Yeah." So the truth is, I'm scared to death to do it.
And why is that?
I don't know. I don't know what my problem is, but I'm like, I sit down and my throat closes up, and I'm like, I got all these ideas and I can't get them out. And he's like, "Let me coach you."
Right.
Yes, please.
Right.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, you are somebody that can pull these things out, and like, it's in here, but a coach can get it out.
Right. Right. And there's nothing wrong with saying that.
No.
Like, it's nothing wrong at all. I wish there was coaches for everything.
I know. So like, I want to do this. I need a coach because
Exactly.
I'm not supposed to know how to do this.
No, and that's fine. But like having the wherewithal to find one and utilize what they're teaching you is, yeah. So
And now, but there was a time in my life when I couldn't afford a coach.
True.
Where, everybody's like, get a mentor, get a coach.
True.
How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I think that's when you have to like maximize podcasts. I am a podcast crazed person. I commute a lot, so there's a lot of time that I'm in the car.
Which would normally be wasted time.
Exactly. And or the repetitive CD over and over. But I got into podcasts, and there's so much I just like learning. Again, I've got like certain podcasts that I at certain times.
When you're in a certain mood, you listen to this one.
Exactly. But I feel like that I feel like is maybe the closest thing to having a one-on-one coach, but it's that consistent reminder, that daily like reminder of, why I'm doing that, check-in, kind of like your check-in with yourself. I think if you don't, take that time out, then you're just kind of all over the place, or at least I am. I kind of, even if it's just 30 minutes, like, okay.
This is what I need to do today.
Right.
This is what I
right.
where I
you
need
get
to
the
hear.
motivation, you get the, these are tangible tools that I can, you get the, reassurance, the pat on the back, and then you're like, okay, I can go out there and I can, I can get through the second half, like that's.
And before I could have a coach, I mean, that's what I did. I was reading books.
Yeah.
Like, books were my mentor. The authors were my mentors.
Right.
And
There's so many too.
And there are so many people. Like, you can find people that are willing to help coach you, maybe not in a professional role, but just a mentor that's going to help guide you and have you looked out for this, and here's where you need,
in high school you have guidance counselors.
Yes.
They still do, right?
I think.
Her kids are a little more school age. Back when I was in school, they did. I mean, that's exactly what he was. He was a mentor that walked through high school with us, and advised us on getting to college and all of those twists and turns. So I think as an adult, you have to acknowledge that, hey, sometimes I'm going to need a little help, and there's Troy, and
So if you're just joining us, you can maximize the growth opportunities that are right in front of you with I've Decided, especially now because we just announced this weekend that I've Decided is now going to have personal success coaches, certified personal success coaches using the I've Decided method to help people reach their goals and dreams, which is just taking it to the next level. That is asking for more and getting it from I've Decided. It's, incredible growth opportunity here for us.
I've Decided is just on fire.
Yeah.
So I am just so excited to see, a decade from now. Like, Peoria is just going to be.
It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So there was another point that Kim made, and we kind of touched on this too, but this is something I sometimes struggle with. And I think you're the same way, high achieving type, right?
Yes.
We're
trying to be.
Yes.
And drive myself crazy if I'm not.
High performance, high achiever type, like I strive on that. I always want to be better. But being okay with where you're at.
Yes.
First.
That is. Yeah.
I was missing that piece for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a forced piece.
Yeah.
In my life. It's a forced decision to, and once I think you make the decision.
Yeah, you have to.
Kind of. Yeah. But it is something that's so, because you always look for, more and
The next thing.
And I feel like sometimes, at least for me, I'm like, I'm praying for, a miracle. And then God's like, well, hello. And you're kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Like, let me just.
I didn't mean that miracle.
Right. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. I need to, but I think that being okay, and having grace that it's okay to take your path. I think the journey, again, is specific to you.
Right.
Your journey's not going to look like somebody else's. So, when you're comparing and you're saying, oh, well, it's happening for this person.
Look at how she's doing.
Right. I feel like you're like, you're missing your journey.
Right.
And there might be a reason, there might be something that you're missing or a lesson that you need to learn, and learning the lesson early, I always say, is better than late. So sometimes I'm like, thank you, I got that out of the way.
Now
so
I don't need to do that again in a couple years.
Exactly.
And because I have learned this, if you don't get the lesson the first time, it's going to keep showing up.
Right. So it's just easier to just let me run towards that storm, get the lesson, and then we can move on.
And then I can be done with that and move on to the next big thing.
Right. So,
but I think I sometimes still struggle with that a little bit, with just being okay with. Because I do have so many things I want to do.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things.
I'm constantly like, I'm running out of time. You don't understand. Life is short. I've got things I got to do.
I know. I could live 100 lifetimes.
Oh, yeah. And I still but okay, I didn't do that one thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, still not get through everything.
Exactly
so, just being okay with, but you don't have to get there tomorrow.
Right.
Like,
Right. And,
you can be okay with where you're at.
Right. I'm constantly. Yeah. So I think, just having grace and it's all about the journey. I mean, it really is. So it's
all about the journey.
Even if you have to force it and fake it and tell yourself in your, you don't believe it. You're like, I'm happy with where I am. I am happy with where I am.
And finding the things that you can be happy about.
Yeah, because if you look around, there are so many things to be thankful for and happy with and content with and proud that you're not where you may have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you forget how much you've grown, you're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You look in the last 5 years, we've done quite a bit, And
my life is, I said that this morning with somebody I was at coffee with. I said, my life is unrecognizable 5 years ago. Like, I would not even know who, if I met 2005 Michelle, I wouldn't even know who she is.
Right,
like,
exactly.
She's not the same person because you grow.
Well, right, and if 2005 Michelle saw you, it'd be like, well, would she be proud? Right, like, okay. So sometimes, not to get complacent.
Right.
But, like I said, allow yourself a little bit of grace and, it's good. It's good.
We're maximizing here. We are maximizing our growth opportunities that I've decided, and we certainly hope that you will too. I can't believe, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but we're going to be out of time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Gosh, always. Yeah. So we are maximizing our growth opportunities at I've Decided, and we hope that you'll do the same thing. We certainly invite you to join our community. Now we've got the success coaches.
I know. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Troy, but I'm saying,
can you imagine anybody better?
Help me with this.
Yeah. Can you imagine anybody better to be a success coach?
I know. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic.
Great,
so come along with us on the journey. Join I've Decided, join our community for $15 a month. You have access to all of these things, so that you can maximize your growth too.
Yeah, maximize your growth.
We'd love to see you at the next I've Decided event.
Absolutely.
And until next time.
Yes, until we meet again next
I'm Michelle Bohm with my new friend
Reagan Hill.
And we are hosting the journey for you the first Tuesday of every month here at I've Decided. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
I've Decided presents The Journey. Along the journey to your success, there are many great adventures and great insights. You can learn from it all. Hosted by Michelle Bohm and Reagan Ward. Tune in the first week of every month and be encouraged by guests who will share their success stories and their challenges.
PeoriaLife.com